Well, I mean, how long does an air horn last? Like, could you build?
I mean, it depends how good you are at it.
Okay. If you're doing it,
Okay, let's just see. Now, if you'll notice at the end there, I kind of trailed off a little bit because I haven't warmed up. I didn't know that we were going to be talking about this kind of thing. But...
So you think an air horn is you making the sound? Is that?
Yeah, I mean that's one of the ways. But again, I haven't warmed up, so
right. Maybe later we can hear some more air horn.
Do you guys ever worry about going to prison, or maybe not worry about it, but think about? If you were to go to prison, how do you handle yourself? Say you're getting locked up for, say, 12 years, no parole. How do you handle that? And you're going to the Hooskow. You're going to San Quentin. You're going to Q. You're going to San Quentin. What do you do?
So we live in a different state.
Yeah.
One.
Yeah, you've been enjoying that, and that keep that in mind. That California weather's probably made you real soft.
I don't want to answer this question. I'm uncomfortable by the implication, Michael.
Well, I'm not. You're falsely accused.
Well,
you are framed for murdering the president.
The president. You got 12 years.
Yep, you got
Sounds
12
like
years.
California.
Yeah.
Right. You could probably use your air horn skills to pacify.
Yeah, I guess I could do that. To like, if we wanted to throw like a little get together in the mess hall or whatever, and I just kind of in there and kind of get things going. So maybe like I'll kind of do a situation where different gangs can kind of rent my air horn skills out, and I'll be unaffiliated.
You can't play the middle.
You're about to get your wig split.
If you're gonna do anything at all, you're gonna have to associate with a group. I think the best thing to do would be just to surprise people with the air horn. I think it'd be like a way to really, it'd be a fun surprise, I think, for a lot of people to hear.
It was a tense moment, and you just.
I think you're thinking like, well, God willing, none of us will be going back to prison.
Does that mean that you're not going to kill this president? Is that what you're?
I'm not going to kill any president. That's a lot of work.
You know, Squeaky Frome almost killed Ford, right?
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, didn't she get right up in his face? And did her gun misfire? What happened? What's the story?
They caught her before she got too close. They knew she was coming because she was so loud and squeaky.
Is that how she got the name?
Yep. She was just... And they're like, what is that?
That's old Squeaky.
Yeah.
Welcome to INS, the International News Service, your source for the most important weird news from across the globe. With news analyst Kevin Harrison, actor, comedian, and musician Mike Wiebe, and professional commentator Brian Camp. INS, the news you need.
I got to tell you a David Copperfield fact before I forget, because this is a memory I had that I swear is true.
Wait, the book or the guy?
No, the guy.
Okay.
Nobody read that book.
No one. It was garbage. Everybody knows. No, maybe it was pretty good. I don't know if I read David. The special, there was a special, and it was on years ago, and it was David Copperfield, and he did something like scarves or something, and it was like a very magician thing to do where he doesn't say anything. It's all facial expressions and doing, as I'm moving my hands around, magic stuff. In the background, though, it was like this really soft, quiet music. And it was the song Sailing On, but it was a cover, and it was so just really nice and quiet. It's crazy. And I swear it was the weirdest thing in the world. It was like, oh, that's Bad Brains.
Really?
Shut up, fool.
Don't tell me to shut up, you motherfucker. But yeah, it was. All right. Damn it. You know what? Somebody's going to hear that and say, I knew it. They saw that special too. It was well after he made the Statue of Liberty disappear. It was.
I mean, that's the one that we all remember the most.
Yeah. This was like within the last 15 years.
Whoa, they moved the platform. Oh, wait, spoiler alert for a trick that happened 35 years ago.
How did they do it? How did they make it disappear?
They had a platform that faced the Statue of Liberty, and then they're like, okay, I'm going to make it disappear, and they put down a curtain that's blocking the Statue of Liberty, and then they had a motor under the platform that just moved it. And then they opened the curtain again and went, it's gone!
Wait, they moved the whole Statue of Liberty?
No, they moved the platform that everybody was on.
Didn't people notice when the platform was moving?
It was the 80s. People were, they were a little high on coke.
Everyone was more willing to play along in the 80s.
I think that's probably true, actually.
Why would they do that?
Because they got to be on TV. I'm on the TV like the movie stars.
No, but
baffled, upset is a great thing.
I'm mad now. I'm just. This is really fucking pissing me off. So you're telling me that they just moved all these people and the people just pretended to go like, oh, I can't see it.
Yeah, exactly like that.
Right, don't look to your left, ladies and gentlemen.
The trick wasn't at all like making the Statue of Liberty not there. Just making people's react. It was just hiring actors to go,
Yeah, well, it would be a lot harder to actually disguise this, remove the Statue of Liberty. You need like cranes, multiple cranes.
I bet David Blaine could do it.
It's true disillusionment for Mike.
Also, you know what else I think? I don't think that David Copperfield, even a young David Copperfield, would be allowed in the Pussy Posse like David Blaine is.
Yeah. Who else is in that?
Tobey Maguire, Lucas Haas, inexplicably, Leonardo DiCaprio, the guy that plays E in Entourage, and probably some other fellas too. And I don't know. They may have opened up the ranks now and let women in too.
That's good for them.
Were there any crossovers between the Rat Pack and the Pussy Posse?
No, I don't think so. I think it's kind of a menudo. I think you get aged out of the Pussy Posse.
Who would win in a fight between Dave C and Dave B?
Oh boy. I feel like Dave C actually probably can do some sword play. Like he's studied fencing and he would be prancing all over or just hopping all over with a fencing sword and just run David Blaine through. I'll tell you this is a totally true story. I was in a bar in Austin, Texas about 7 years ago, maybe longer even.
Hanging out with Jeff Fahey.
No, this was a different time, but I have hung out with Jeff Fahey and he's one of my best friends. But David Blaine was there and we're like, oh shit, there's David Blaine. And then I was like, it's probably so lame. He probably like really bugs him to do card tricks. And it's like, whatever, card tricks. Who would even like, we're in the middle of a bar. We're hanging out. Who would want to see a card trick? And then he pulled out a deck of cards and I just skipped and jumped and clapped my hands together 4 times and ran over there. And immediately contradicted myself. And I was like, So David Blaine, he's got about 8 of us around him and he's shuffling cards and he's talking to us. And before he'd done any magic trick, it was very clear that he'd already done a magic trick and made a whole bunch of cocaine disappear into his nose. Like, it is one of the most gacked out I've ever seen anyone. He was trying to chew off his own ear. And then he was stumbling around. He got maybe this was the magic trick that he just got everyone like all tense of like, oh, we're going to see this dude, this guy that's famous exclusively for being a magician fuck up a magic trick. And then at the exact right moment when he was for sure going to fuck up the trip, somebody opened up the door and was like, let's go, get out of here. And like, time to go. And so he's like, I'm going to go and try and gnaw on the side of the air next to my face. So because of David Blaine's debilitating addiction problems, I predict that David Copperfield wins this bout.
Are you reporting his debilitating
Yes.
addiction issues? All right. You've heard it here first. That's right.
He may have grown out of them. And honestly, like, maybe we should cut this because
No.
well, listen, I don't know where the rules are, because admittedly, I do have an application to join the Pussy Posse.
You can do that online? Is that...
Yeah, I mean, and I'm going in as I'm trying to get an accountant role in there. It's not as much hanging out. I'm married. I'm happily married. I'm not trying to mess with that. But I figure the guys, need someone to just check the books. They can give me numbers. They can, I'll have a bunch of rubbers on hand. I've started calling them rubbers again.
That's good.
I'll be like, Leo, Magnum, but I don't really throw him Magnum. It's just a regular Trojan, but we pretend. Part of my job is going to be to take out Trojans and put them in Magnum wrappers. And it's
an important job.
That takes a day. That's going to take a day. But
do you get paid for this work, or is it just the satisfaction of being in?
The first couple of years are probably it's more of an internship type situation.
Yeah.
But then after that, I'll say this. I think it's going to open up a lot of doors for me.
Okay. Like what kind of doors?
Like the gates of a pussy. No, I just think that there would be a lot of opportunities. Just kind of like, I just think hanging out with the guys is there's going to be a lot of money floating around out there. And it's just up to me to kind of reach out and grab some of it. It's a lot of work. I'm not at all thinking that this is going to be fun and games. The guys, that crew, like, they've been famous for a long time. They literally do not know how to do anything for themselves. They do not know. They forget how to utensils. They forget how that is. They're so used to having everything done for them. So there's a lot of me.
Are you going to feed them?
Yeah, that's part of the duties, because if they die, then that's on me. Nobody wants that.
Utensils, are you gonna like baby bird them?
Each guy's different. Toby Maguire, he just, you can just put a smoothie with a straw right up to his face, and he's gonna gulp it down. Leo, it's a bit of a different touch with him. That yes, there may be the need to pre-chew some food if he's feeling fussy and he doesn't want to chew his own food, especially if it's something tough like a steak, because Leo gets, he likes the taste of steak, but he forgets how hard it is, and he hasn't had to do that.
So do you have to taste it for him, or I don't understand?
No, I just chew it up a little bit and get it good and soft, and so then I just open it up and put it into his mouth, and then Leo DiCaprio is fed.
You tenderize it a little bit.
I tenderize it with my own mouth. And also I need, I'm going to need to break it down a little bit, because the thing you guys need to know about Leonardo DiCaprio is his tummy does not handle spice as well.
You're gonna ingest some of the spiciness and just leave him the very mild chewed meat only, I guess.
Yeah, and then they love it after I spit it out and I just look at it. I just grab him and I go, and that's a spicy meatball, a DiCaprio, Italiano.
Yeah, that's. With that, Kevin, do you think maybe we can start with the news?
Welcome to the International News Service. We're your hosts. I'm Kevin Harrison, along with...
I am Brian Camp.
And I'm Mike Wiebe. And now back behind the board.
Be nice to him.
Mark Ryan, who we value and care about.
Hey, Mark.
Hey. He's
good to see you, Mark.
Hi, guys. What's happening?
Let's see. We actually got more vocalization out of you. You're really...
He's going to redub this later.
Right. Your natural voice is so much higher than what you edit.
This first story comes from the BBC, and the title is...
Bad Boy Club.
Facebook mistakenly removes French town's page. Facebook's algorithm recently removed a town's name when it confused the town with an English insult. The town, Beach, spelled Bitche, is in northeast France and has a population of about 5,000. People from Beach are called Beachois or Beachoisie, according to the town's mayor. And I'm going to warn you in advance, this is a really bad translation. Quote, on 19th of March, Facebook informed us that our page, Villa de Beach, was no longer online on the basis that it was in violation of conditions applying to Facebook pages. He added, quote, what has happened to the town of Beach demonstrates the insufficient and limited moderating tools that only the human gaze can appreciate. On April 13th, nearly a month after removing the page, the president of French Facebook contacted the mayor to say the page had been reinstated and he apologized for the inconvenience. Another town in the region called Rohrbach-les-Beach responded by renaming its Facebook page Villa de Rohrbach and explaining the change on Facebook by saying, quote, Facebook seems to be hunting a term associated with Rohrbach. We'll let you imagine the reason, unquote.
On Facebook, you can't, I'm assuming the word that we're concerned with is bitch.
What? Oh, this makes so much more sense now.
Well, just, can you not, will they not allow you to use that word? Is that?
I know that, so
I'm going to try right now and just see what happens. Let's do this.
Do it.
I will tell, so I know, our readers don't understand that Brian does not have any social media.
Oh, yeah, we should add that in there, too.
It was raised Amish, and even the Zoom technology, when we set it up for him, he was looking behind his laptop trying to figure out where the men were coming from.
None of my dolls had faces.
Well, I'll tell you this. I got the Riverboat Gamblers Facebook page banned because we got hacked by a Vietnamese... I don't know, somebody hacked it and then they sold it to this furniture store and we couldn't change the name. And it said Riverboat Gamblers and then had this long thing and people were doing furniture deals on our page. It was real weird. And then so I just went in there and started insulting everyone's ancestors and then we got permabanned. But that was after probably 3 months of pleading with Facebook to take care of it and they just wouldn't do anything. They wouldn't care. So I sunk that ship real good.
That'll show them.
Felt good.
It is. Is that cutting your nose off to spite your face? Is that
maybe? But honestly, fuck Facebook. I think these frogs over there should be super. I think they should be happy. I think they did a favor.
We love the French people. We are fans of the French.
No, they're great. Yeah, they're cool. But they just be thankful that you don't need a Facebook page. That's for dumb old people. Facebook page is for the elderly. Facebook is for disseminating information about Q and scaring the elderly or inversely sharing pictures of grandkids. That's what it is exclusively.
Mike, does the International News Service have a presence on Facebook?
Yeah, I forgot to mention. By the way, just be sure to follow us on social media. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. We've got a Patreon. Oh, and International News Pod on Facebook.
Yeah, and also fuck Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg, come at me. You can't do anything. I'm best friends with the Winklevoss twins. What do you think of that?
Who's the Winklevoss?
We work out together, and they're in a gang. They're I'm like Two-Face, and they're two of my henchmen. And you know who played the Winklevoss twins in the movie? Armie Hammer. 100% Campbell.
All right. He probably was originally a twin and ate his sibling in the womb.
That actually did happen. I've looked that up.
I just think that town was better off without a Facebook page.
Oh, sure.
Why do you need a Facebook page? What do you need to post about your town? That's it. Everybody has a fucking Facebook page now, and it's so stupid. There was a sign up at the hospital for a Facebook page. What?
Yeah. For the hospital's Facebook or
right.
Just
the hospital sign up that said follow us on Facebook, and there's exclusively bad things happen at the hospital. That's just going to be constant negative content, just trauma and sickness and fucking babies being born. It's just all negative bullshit. And what are the posts going to be like? Burn unit really stunk up today.
Do you think the burn unit smells bad? I bet it smells pretty good. I bet they're careful.
Like steak?
Like steak.
It probably.
It's,
I was going to say, I bet they put up a bunch of those little car air
little
fresheners.
Christmas tree.
Yeah, little Christmas
No,
trees.
Just lots of pine fresh. Smells like a forest fire in here.
Yeah, not to make fun of that, but
No,
I mean,
that's
but
a-
I
that's-
am speaking the truth of that. Like, why does the hospital need a Facebook page?
I don't know.
Okay.
I wish I had an answer for that.
Well, then this mystery has been solved.
Well, can I have a follow-up question? Because this is, I think
Okay.
you said, Kevin, you said this was Ville de Beach. Is that correct?
Well, no, the page was Ville de Beach, but the town is actually called Beach.
Well, is it possible that it's not bitch that's getting you banned, but vile bitch?
Ooh.
And if so, to test that, Mike, would you please post something about a vile bitch, and let's run the old litmus test on that
All
one as
right.
well.
So what do you want me to write about my ex-girlfriend? Good stuff.
Hilarious, Mike.
They don't know the name of a town, but they can fucking tell my mom that COVID is a hoax. That's grand.
That's right. Isn't the world better with the advent of social media? Isn't information free and accurate for everyone? Are the dreams of 1989 to 1992 finally realized? It's wonderful.
What were the dreams of 1989 to 1992?
Oh, it's just the internet utopia. It's great.
You've seen David Bowie talk about it on old YouTube clips when he's saying it's going to unite the entire world. It's going to change everything.
Right.
Well, we can watch David Bowie on YouTube.
Thanks, Google. I'm glad that the Google overlords have allowed that to happen.
What if I don't want my kids watching him?
What were your children's names again?
Legolas and Chicken Nugget, right?
Legolas and Chien. I'm calling him CHN. Chin. Six Pack Kids Nugget.
Six-pack Kids.
Would trade in the ice dream for a toy. That's what his full name is. I don't want him. I don't want them watching. I don't want them getting the idea that they can go or be from outer space, because it's just, I don't think we should go to space. I don't think we should have anything to do with space. I don't think if there are spiders from Mars, I don't want to get bit by them, because that will sting.
Oh, I'm sure space with them has to be the worst. It took me a second to put it all together, Mike. I apologize. And by then I was just laughing.
Some stuff is pretty intense that I say. It takes a little bit.
Really.
Now, if somebody does get bit by a spider from Mars, we will be covering on the International News Service.
Yeah, probably, because their flesh is going to rot out from the inside out.
Right. Won't they? Isn't it possible they fall on us?
I would assume so. They're definitely coming in from the atmosphere
Right,
and
they're up
landing on
there.
people's heads. And the only way to get the venom out is to urinate on it.
Urinate?
And if you want to, do you want to get your wounds urinated on?
Does it have to be your own urine, or can it be somebody else's?
Oh no. It has to be. There's a handful of people that have a very certain level of pH balance.
Oh, so just a really coffee-rich, energy drink-rich diet.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of other liquids consumed.
A lot of coffee.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of Bud Light Clamatos.
Yeah, lots of tomato-based alcohol.
Which is bad news for me. I'm allergic to
Oh,
tomatoes.
Jesus. God damn it. Maybe it's time we move on to that. Oh, well, let's just say to the good people of the region of Beach, INS supports you. We're with you. We stand united in your cause against the French Facebook algorithm.
Get on, and hey, listen, you guys go ahead and get on. Fucking can't remember the fucking My Pillow guy is doing.
It's called Frank, right?
Frank, yes.
Yeah.
Get on Frank, and it's free speech for everyone, as long as you don't use the Lord's name in vain.
People are going to have so much fun with that. I'm looking forward to that.
He's already been he's been appearing on these shitty shows with call-ins, and people have been prank calling him, and it is, man, Prank calling's still great. It's just still great.
It used to be that it was like fishing, right?
Yeah.
There used to be fish everywhere. And then slowly over time, we've been fishing out certain portions of the sea. We can't have orange roughy anymore. And salmon is sometimes hard to find. And a good target for a prank call, they're just not out there anymore. And they used to be everywhere. And to find somebody like that, who is just his reaction, I'm sure, is just to get enraged every single time. There's not many of those left. It's a gift.
Should he be on the endangered species list?
North American dumbass.
Yeah. North American jerk off.
No, we got plenty of those.
Yeah, we got a lot of them.
So, regarding the spiders from Mars, however, our next story comes to us from Newsweek. A mysterious device was recently discovered in a New Jersey park, which led to the deployment of the New Jersey State Park Police's detective unit, as well as its canine unit. The device found consisted of a headphone wire connecting a block of wood and a soup can, and had a tag attached to a red pole that read, quote, UFO detector site number 448.
Uh-oh.
Police said they disarmed the device by, quote, unplugging the headphone wire from the block of wood and the soup can it was plugged into, unquote. Police released a statement reading, quote, although humankind and visitors to New Jersey State Park appreciate an extraterrestrial early warning device like this, we should not be finding them in our state parks, unquote.
It's so great when you take it upon yourself now to occasionally do one of those accents.
It's a New Jersey police officer. How?
Yeah, no, it was good.
It's good.
How else would he talk?
On the case of this item, I would like to say dibs. Give that bad boy to me. I will put it to good use.
Let me, while I'm thinking of it, let me show you a picture.
Those are a picture
of the device.
I feel like if I was an alien and I wanted to hide a device, I would make it look like, one, a device that was meant to locate me, and then mask it as a soup can and a block of wood connected by a headphone wire.
The old switcheroo, they call it.
And I would put it in New Jersey.
It was the Greys what put it there.
Actually, so this park had a UFO sighting on October 20th, 2020.
Christ.
So
2020.
You know, this isn't a unique occurrence for this area.
Oh, wow.
You see the wood grain painted silver there.
Shit.
Yeah, I'm going to say this. Anybody who heard this and thought this was a Campbell soup can and a wire that just happened to be stuck to a piece of wood,
get your head out of your ass.
Yeah, this looks to be something potentially not of this earth.
There is some validity to the fact that this might not be of human origin, because no human would be that fucking dumb.
That the pole looks identifiable, right? It's got stripes on it.
Well, yeah, you want to be able to find your UFO detector.
Well, that's not the point. I mean, it looks like it's just interesting that they knew it was a soup can, or at least they believe it's a soup can. They're confident in their North American hubris.
Apple's already developing one of these. So I don't even know. They'll be commercial in no time.
It is unclear, it remains unclear who set up the gadget or whether there are another 447 similar devices that exist.
Well, there has to be.
Well, there has to be.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have that number on there.
It's an excellent point, but I think there are 447 devices.
And I know I've we've gotten into this before, but I will remind you that I am an expert in identifying numbers, and number 447 checks out. It is a real number. It is an actual number. It definitely checks out. So
that's the first step.
You know, if I were to get hired to look more into this case, I absolutely would. But from where I'm standing now, this is a real object with a real number attached to it and a real people looking for real UFOs.
I think we need to put maybe a little more credence than the park police who were really quick to dismiss this as a hoax, right? Maybe a little too quick.
We also need to put a little more Clearwater Revival as well.
Once again, I don't know why it took me a second. I think I'm mad at you about it.
Yeah.
I think it's fair that I'm angry with you for saying that.
I will go ahead and say that sucked, and I'm ashamed of myself.
No, before we go to the next story, and I do think this bears a quick discussion at least, is we all know that recently through I believe either released or declassified and released documents, the U.S. Navy has released photos of what is very clearly a UFO. You guys have seen that, right?
I have seen that. I've been following those stories a lot. And they're supposed to do
a triangle shaped device.
There's supposed to be a statement released this summer. They're saying that there's going to be a big official statement released.
Well, the detectors probably take that long to return all their data.
Indeed.
I just think it's interesting that we see this and now we're starting to learn about
that does
UFO
actually
detectors that are out there.
Yes.
This is what they call a psy-op.
We'll be having some follow-up stories on this.
Yeah, I hope so.
No doubt.
Brian, when you were out at sea, did you, in your time in the Navy, did you ever see any UFOs, which I believe is what they call them?
UFOs?
Yeah.
I mean, no. I saw things that I didn't know what they were, so I guess yes, but I don't.
So they were not identified and they were flying.
Well,
were they objects, Brian?
The one thing I will say this isn't funny, but it is true. There are a shitload of satellites in the sky when it's pretty clear. I don't think people realize how many things are in orbit that have lights and do things.
Satellite of love, satellite of love, satellite.
All right, let's go on to the next story.
So the next story comes to us from Vice.
Oh.
And the title is...
Well, I got the right mustache for this news source.
There you go.
Man fined for farting on cop argues farts are protected forms of expression. Last June, a 22-year-old Austrian man was sitting on a park bench with friends when a group of police officers approached them.
Was this in Austria?
Yeah, this is in Austria.
Okay.
I think it was in Vienna. I don't remember now. I'm not going to look.
He's probably all gassy from them sausages.
Do they eat sausages in Austria?
Vienna
sausages.
Oh, yeah, those sausages. They're good. I like potted meat. Little ketchup.
I feel like that was a sincere statement, and we just laughed at you.
Yeah, I was sharing something that was like, oh, yeah, that was when I was growing up. That was, we didn't have a lot of money for food, and so I ate a lot of Vienna sausages. I guess that's something for you guys to laugh at. That's cool.
Did you drink the juice?
I take your silence as shame. No, I didn't drink. The juice is gross. You got to take them out and put them on a paper plate and microwave them.
Yeah, it's exclusively paper plate food.
That's right. Right. That's the way we did it. Ground up peckers and lips as soft meat.
Oh, God.
That's what's in them Vienna sausages.
God, I would rather watch 100+ extraction videos.
Is this a bid? Like how many can we get you up to until at 101 are you like, no, I'll have the fucking Vienna sausage?
I can eat 100 Vienna sausages.
Well, they're kind of small.
Are we going to outbid each other? I don't.
Nah, I just wanted to do a contest where I end in a Christ pose at the end with my belly full of Vienna sausages.
That could be a tier. Maybe we need to.
Maybe it is. Yeah,
maybe we could do
it's
that.
A new tier on the Patreon. The Vienna sausage.
Another tier is a night in the hole.
A night in the hole. That's if you get both. That's quite. Hey, so, but seriously, you guys, you've never had Spam or any canned.
I mean, I've had it, but I didn't like it. I would always get threatened with the kid with when there was food that I didn't like, and they would be like, "This is what if you don't eat this, you're not eating anything." And I would go, I choose number 2. I choose not eating. And it would always weirdly infuriate them. And I was pretty good at going no, I can survive a night without, with eating the little bits of the parts that I like and just not eat the rest of the night. I didn't complain. And I think it was a real source of amusement.
So, yeah, I checked, and this actually did occur in Vienna, Austria.
Oh, home of Vienna sausages. You guys ever had those?
So to recap, last June, a 22-year-old Austrian man was selling...
Mike says he can eat... Kevin, real quick. Mike says he can eat 800 Vienna sausages. Did you hear that?
One sitting?
I said 100, but now that you've said 800, I will rise to that challenge.
For $100 a month, Mike will eat 800 Vienna sausages, and you'll get the exclusive video.
Before I have to go to the hole.
You could probably no bathroom break in between, right?
I didn't agree to that.
You could blend up 800 into probably 10 shakes.
Oh my God, that's so disgusting.
Just pink, thick pink shakes.
Just thick.
Well, it would just
Pink.
look like
The texture of drinkable bologna.
Yeah, that would be pus video. That is 100% Dr. Pimple Popper.
Right. You're just relying on the promise that it was cooked. You're not really sure.
God damn.
So just to reiterate, last June, a 22-year-old Austrian man was sitting on a park bench with friends when a group of police officers approached him.
Where in Austria do you think he was?
He was in Vienna.
Ah, like the sausage.
Sausage place.
Yeah.
You ever feel like you're in an infinite loop?
I'm sorry, Kevin. Please continue.
Somebody hit Brian on the side. He's repeating.
As long as I think it's funny, right? That's what I tell myself.
According to documents related to the incident, the man then, quote, lifted his buttocks and tensed up a little before letting intestinal gas escape, unquote.
Now, we've talked about this. Buttocks, plural. So I think that means he lifted his entire ass off of the seat. Is that correct?
Like a David Blaine kind of thing. Like a
That's
levitation.
nasty.
Well, no, I don't think he just stood up a little bit.
Okay.
I want to make sure either he tilted to the side or he raised himself up entirely.
No,
Two different acts.
I had envisioned this as he kind of leaned over, but now that you say that, I think he kind of squatted up a little bit.
Buttocks is whole ass, right?
Yeah.
I think that's a mystery that we solved at one point. So
Yeah, we solved that.
okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, what happened was that the man's friends laughed. One made a joke, and then the man, quote, grinned at the officers, unquote.
This is the first time I've ever been pro cop.
Okay.
So the man was then given a $600 fine for farting on a police officer. Recently, the case went to trial, and the man argued that the fart was not intentional and that even if it was intentional, it would still fall under his fundamental rights for freedom of expression. Unfortunately, the judge did not agree, finding that farts and burps can cause social inappropriateness, but they do not contain communicative content, and even if they did, they would still be considered, quote, a form of expression that transcends the boundaries of decency.
What about the clumps? Huh?
Now that's a good point.
That guy has a shitty lawyer, because I would have said I have to bring in a demonstration, and I would have brought in the Nutty Professor and then the sequel to the Clumps, and I would have made the jury watch the entirety of both of those movies.
Brilliant.
I mean, that's why some people do consider you America's greatest unlicensed attorney.
That's right. Well, I think this is a good time to talk about one of your two favorite books.
Yeah, it's called The Constitution. It's my favorite book. It's the best thing ever written in the history of man. People say that it was written by the founding fathers, but really it was written by Jesus Christ himself. The founding fathers found a scroll that he had written it all on in Aramaic, and they all spoke Aramaic except for Thomas Jefferson, who just kind of like read it, but not. He could speak it, but he couldn't write it. Anyway, so because they were all geniuses. And so they went together and they wrote it out, and they realized that somewhere in there that freedom of the press and freedom to carry a gun means freedom to have more fun.
So what part discusses the freedom of farting?
What I just said. What did I just say? Repeat back to me.
Freedom of the press and freedom to own a gun or freedom to have more fun.
Exactly. Case closed.
Wow.
Too bad this guy lived in Austria and not in America. And too bad that I wasn't his lawyer.
Protected speech in America. Sorry, Austria. That's what you get for birthing Hitler.
Yep. Too bad your fucking professors aren't nutty like ours.
The judge, however, did lower the fine to about $120. Nevertheless, The man's attorney said they would be appealing the decision to the country's constitutional courts, stating, quote, "It's a matter of principle for us because it's petty to get punished for a fart," unquote.
Real Clarence Darrow there. That's,
Yeah. Inherit the wind. Literally.
it is. That's good stuff, Mike.
I mean, I think I think that's
it. I mean,
that's it. I mean, I said I had a thought.
Said what needed to be said. Right.
I referenced the famous Scopes monkey trials with the phrase "inherit the wind." It's a court case. It's that. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're not putting money into the fucking Patreon after you heard me say that off the top of my fucking dome, I mean, where's your money going to? What are you buying your kids toys or some bullshit? This is the kind of quality you will get from here.
They got plenty of toys anyway.
They got plenty. They don't need them. Another piece of plastic that they don't want. Let your kids listen to this podcast
and learn something.
They're going to learn something. They're going to take it with them in life and do better.
You mean like they're going to learn a lot of cuss words?
I mean, whatever. Sure. Among other things, they're going to learn a lot of stuff.
You want your kids to be cool, right?
You want your kids to be... Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Right. We'll talk about smoking later on.
You know what's the funniest? And listen, I use cuss words as a utility, but swearing in children, swearing in the very elderly, at least elderly women, very funny. Very funny.
Mm-hmm. Betty White and Lake Placid.
Yeah, exactly. The tone's a little I think any swear word off a small child is funny, but the tone, you have to have a very kindly tone while you're dropping F-bombs.
Thank you for censoring yourself.
Yeah.
Wow. After 2/3 of this episode.
Well, it's not going to be gratuitous.
Yeah, I'm not. I use it. I use them. They're utility. I use them when I need to.
You won't even hear it. It's so appropriate when he says it.
I use it to make a point.
Right. He's not trying to jar anybody with his language. It's just sliding right in the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Well, on that note, I think that's another week of the International News Service. Thanks for listening. Feel free to check us out on social media. We're International News Pod at gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
And
or on our social media.
Can I plug something real quick?
Here we go.
Gamblers have a new single out on iTunes and
do you really?
Spotify. Yes, it's a
give
cover.
The full name of your band, just in case somebody.
The
doesn't
Riverboat
know.
Gamblers, and it's a cover of the Jerry Rafferty classic "Right Down the Line," and Sabrina Ellis from A Giant Dog is co-singing on it. She's
I heard
the
it was good.
co-singer.
I listened today.
I'm very, very happy with it.
Well, very good, Mike.
Also, I think, Mike, you have another podcast too, right?
Oh, yeah. The Zach and Mike Make 3 podcast. You can listen to that wherever. The same place you're listening to this. Just scroll your fat little fingers over to that one.
And this is all assuming that we haven't been banned on social media for your
We've been shadow banned for sure.
Use of
We've for sure been shadow banned.
Bitch and vile bitch in succession.
But find us across social media at International News Pod. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Patreon.
What about the Patreon? Let's talk about the Patreon. What are the tiers? Remind me, because I came in 2 hours late to the meeting last week. So
is it crying? Is it tears like you cry? I don't understand. What is it? What do you mean by tear?
96 tears. Boop, 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 boop.
Will you punctuate every tier with an air horn, Mike?
Okay.
All right.
Absolutely.
We've got 4 tiers of Patreon for $5 a month. You can be a Knight of Kevin. You get at least 2 bonus stories per month. For $10 a month, you can join Camp's Corrections. You get the Knights of Kevin plus you get Camp's Corrections, where Brian gives you a piece of his mind about the other guys. Wait a minute, that's us. You also get stories. Brian gets to correct my mispronunciations, which are excellent, by the way. And you also get updates about Camp's Campers.
Thank you for that.
For $25 a month, you can join M-Dub's Wild Wing. You get everything above, plus Mike will send you a 1 to 2 minute video recording per month based on your 1-sentence description, but that's assuming Mike can do it while sitting at his desk and fully clothed, and you can use that recording for anything you want.
Yeah, I'm going to keep my top on, but we'll do this.
And the last tier, and this only goes to one lucky listener, is INS Movie Night.
Oh, boy.
You get everything above, plus you get to watch one movie with us over Zoom per month on a Thursday night, and we pretend to be your friend. We choose the movie, and you have to wear at least shirt and pants. This is limited to one.
What are all these fucking clothing restrictions on every?
I don't.
Yeah, you can be nude. I don't care.
Yeah.
All right.
You can be doing
Let your
whatever.
freak flag fly.
Right. I don't have to watch. And what's cool is they'll pretend like you're their friend, just like you're me.
Well, okay, so that the last tier is limited to one patron per month, and there are no refunds once you realize we're neither fun nor funny.
No, this is edited down from 20 hours of content. This is what you just heard is as funny as Mark can make it.
Well, but here at the end of the day, though, I think that you even if you don't do Patreon, thank you for listening. Tell one person about it. Just grab one person and slap them in the face and say,
you can't do that, Mike.
Grab one person by their hair, literally.
And allegedly slap them in the face.
Just yank it. Don't slap them. Just yank their hair and go like, hey, you got to listen to the International News Service. And if you don't tell someone too, I'm going to hurt you.
Thank you for listening to the International News Service. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. INS, the news you need.